David adjusted the camera and took a deep breath. Time to give the people what they wanted. Hey everyone. Welcome to another mukbang live stream. I'm starving, so let's get right into it. He rubbed his hands together and eyed the giant spread laid out before him. A massive pizza dripping with cheese, a 2-foot-long hoagie stacked with all the fixings, chili fries piled high, and a liter of soda to wash it all down. David dove right in, stuffing his face for his audience. This pizza is so good, he mumbled through a huge mouthful. The live viewer count steadily climbed as people tuned in to watch him gorge. Comments flew in from his fans. Looking good, Dave. Wow, you can really put it away. Slow down, you're going to choke. David grinned at the camera with chipmunked cheeks. He loved the attention. He scarfed down the hoagie in 5 enormous bites, letting out a loud belch. The comments lit up excitedly. But then David noticed some strange messages mixed in. Eat the worms. Consume your sins. Feast on the rotten feast. David shrugged it off. Internet trolls looking for a reaction. But the unsettling comments persisted. Bite off your fingers. Choke on the bones. Drink the blood sauce. David shifted in his seat, trying to brush off the unease creeping up his spine. You guys are too much, he joked with an uncomfortable chuckle. Just kids trying to freak him out. But as he plowed through the chili fries, downing globs of meat and cheese, the comments grew even more disturbing. Rip apart the flesh feast. Gnaw your starving tongue. We hunger insatiable one. David squirmed under the camera's glare. All right guys, that's enough, he snapped. Shadows seemed to flicker at the periphery of the well-lit room. The comments turned vicious, demanding. Bleed for us. Sacrifice your wretched body. Feed us your beating heart. David recoiled, bile rising in his throat. Screw you creeps. He moved to end the live stream but found his computer frozen. Chat messages flashed non-stop, devolving into utter madness. The viewer count rose exponentially by the second. 70k, 100k, 250k. David gasped as the walls around him seemed to pulse and undulate. The lights flickered madly, threatening to plunge him into darkness. Give yourself to us, mortal. End your pitiful existence. Feast on your sanity. David screamed as a chorus of demonic laughter erupted from the computer, from inside his head. He clutched his skull in agony. Cackling shadows swirled around him. The room shook violently. Furniture levitated off the floor, circling around his head. David fell to his knees, shrieking as invisible claws tore at his clothes, shredding fabric and skin. He begged for mercy, but the onslaught continued. The freezer door banged open violently. A wave of frigid air blasted David's face. The liter of soda rose from the table, the cap unscrewing itself. David thrashed in terror, but invisible forces held him still. The soda tipped slowly, pouring in a neon green waterfall down his throat. He gagged and choked as the liter emptied. His stomach swelled grotesquely. He collapsed, clutching his bloated, screaming gut. The messages on screen dissolved into an incomprehensible blur. The audience count ticked up exponentially into the millions. David felt his sanity slipping away. Just when he thought he couldn't endure another second, it stopped. The room went still, the frenzied chaos ceasing instantly. David lay gasping, waiting for the torture to resume. With a crackling buzz, the overhead lights came back on, blinding in their brightness. David recoiled. He crawled weakly to the computer. The livestream window was closed. No trace remained of the demonic chatroom. The viewer count was back down to a dozen or so die-hard fans. David tentatively clicked on his last video. It appeared normal. Just footage of him cheerfully gorging on a massive pile of food. Had he hallucinated all of it? Wincing, he lifted his shirt and gasped. His stomach was terribly distended, protruding grotesquely as if pregnant. As he watched, faint wriggling shapes stirred under the taut, thin skin. Revulsion surged through David. He clawed at his stomach, leaving deep bloody furrows. The folds of skin split slowly under his nails. A tearing, Burning agony lanced through David's guts. He retched violently as tiny black snake-like creatures began spilling out of him, writhing and hissing. They poured endlessly from the yawning cavity in a squirming tide, skittering into the shadows. David's tortured shrieks went unheard as they consumed him from the inside out. But to his faithful fans who later streamed the video, it appeared as nothing more than an ordinary, cheerful mukbang. David smiled and talked with his mouth full, blissfully unaware of the horror to come.